Howdy, folks. I'm Bob the Tomato.
I'm Amber.
You're supposed to be Larry the Cucumber. We talked about this.
No, we didn't.
We were supposed to have very silly songs with Larry, and I was going to. You were supposed. Well, maybe I was supposed to be. Maybe
I think
you're.
You have this conversation in your head.
I think you're
Are they
Bob
like
the Tomato.
Characters?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I didn't really watch that show. We watched it in music class once or twice.
So you have to be Bob the Tomato. I'll be Larry the Cucumber.
No, thank you.
And this is Veggie Tales.
No, it's not VeggieTales. You're gonna confuse people. You are children expecting VeggieTales. Go away.
And here's some Reddit. Our first story is titled, "Am I a jerk for threatening to call the cops at a party?" 8 years ago, I wrecked my motorcycle and had my right leg amputated above the knee. I get around fine with a good quality prosthetic leg. My friends helped me out a lot after the accident when I was really depressed. They are great guys, but they can be a little childish / frat bro types. Love them to death, and they literally saved my life, but I definitely have matured more than some of them. Well, one of my oldest friends, we'll call him Jay, bought a new house and wanted to host a Super Bowl party. 2 of the guests are guys I know well. The rest are distant acquaintances. Well, my stump is itching like crazy. By now, we've all had a few drinks and everyone is pretty into the game. So I discreetly remove my prosthesis and I prop it up on the couch next to me. Later, one of the guys I don't know so well sees it. He asks if he can take a look at the prosthesis. I say sure. He messes around with it a bit and then starts joking that he's gonna pawn it. How much do you think I can get for a cyborg leg, etc.? I'm laughing along until he moves to the other side of the room. Without it, or a mobility aid, I'm a sitting duck, so it makes me real nervous when it's out of reach. He says he's not done looking at it and goes to get another drink. When he comes back, I tell him it's not funny, I need it back. He holds it out about 10 feet away and says, "Come and get it." Now, I'm not about to hop over and arm wrestle this guy for it, so I pull out my phone, make eye contact with Jay, and said, "Either your friend gives me back my leg, or I'm calling the frickin' cops." The room goes dead quiet. The guy handed me my leg and he says, "Man, I was just messing around." It's always funny until someone threatens to call the cops on you. I left pretty shortly after that. I was heated and the mood was awkward. I still didn't think I was a jerk until Jay texted me later today and said that I overreacted. Now I feel kind of like a jerk because I did ruin the party and I yelled at his friend in his house. Jay pointed out that I wasn't going anywhere, so I went off for no real reason. He's right, I wasn't going anywhere and I didn't need it for any reason except I said I get anxious when I can't get access to it. It's part of my body at this point and I can't walk without it, so yeah, I'm a little attached. Asked my 2 other friends and one said I was out of line, the other said I was justified, looking for a tiebreaker vote. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
Not the jerk. I think that OP is not the jerk. I think that it was pretty unreasonable to steal someone's leg. I can understand being interested in taking a look at it, but it doesn't become fun when you start, where were his other friends in all this? Where was Jay in this? Why didn't he stand up for his friend here? And it was hey, just give him back his leg. He was going to start playing some kind of game of toss, basically, with his leg. And we all know how these work out. You start throwing around a leg, and next thing you know, you've knocked over a lamp and potentially broken a leg, too, right? It all happens to all of us. Amber's like, what are you talking about? So, no, I don't think OP's the jerk in this situation. I just think that the other friend really needed to... I think that anybody in that room should have stood up at a certain point and been like, hey, it's not funny, give him back his leg. There's no need to play games with his prosthesis, right? It's not a toy. It isn't something... you literally need it, and if it breaks or have something happens to it and it gets damaged, you're not able to get around, right? And that's a pretty harrowing thing for someone if you then have to rely on other people, or you have to wait a long time to get another leg. So I don't think that you are unjustified here. I think that this was a very justified reaction. And I think that really it didn't need to get to this point if other people had actually been looking out for you, OP, and doing the right thing and being like, hey, give him back his leg. Plain and simple. Or if the guy had just respected you in the first place and given you back your leg, right? So yeah, not the jerk. Any person who saw that interaction and thinks that you were in the wrong is not a friend. They should all be ashamed of themselves. Not the jerk 1,000 times over. Yeah, I can get behind that statement. I have some old close friends with mobility issues, and we might trade jokes back and forth, but I'm not ever going to leave them helpless by taking a medical aid. That's not funny, that's not teasing, it's bullying. I'm all for teasing between good friends who know each other well enough to know where the line is, which this guy wasn't even OP's friend, so WTF, but don't mess around with people's medical equipment ever. I cannot agree more. Just don't do it. Alright, our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for being ungrateful that my boyfriend keeps getting me chocolate? Chocolate? there's a SpongeBob reference in there in case you didn't know. So my boyfriend and I have been together for 8 months. We get along and everything. I didn't like chocolate. Wow. Brian just invented new words on the fly. I don't like chocolate except dark chocolate like Junior Mints. I had a dairy allergy when I was a kid, and even though I outgrew it, for the most part, I still don't like chocolate. My boyfriend seems to think that he'll get me to like chocolate because, quote, all girls like chocolate and it's weird that I don't. Except for people who... Oh my goodness. It's like, maybe you can't, like, turn every woman into a cookie cutter mold here.
Right,
like there's people who like different things and dislike different things, you know?
Unpopular opinion, but chocolate is squarely okay.
Amber says, it's an unpopular opinion, but chocolate is squarely okay for her. I like chocolate fine. But again, like, not everyone's gonna like chocolate. It's just the way life is. He's given me chocolate for every holiday. Oh my goodness, this guy sounds exhausting. Either with different gift or chocolate was the gift. He just tells me to try it. So I do, and I end up disliking it, so he eats it. It's annoying to put thought into his gift, and he keeps purposely getting something that I dislike. Well, yesterday was Valentine's Day, and he gave me 3 things of chocolate. 3? He couldn't be satisfied with getting you 1 thing of chocolate that he knew you would dislike. He couldn't just give you 2 things of chocolate that he knew you would dislike, but he gave you 3. Yes, we're playing the count today, apparently. I was sort of annoyed, and he said that I was being ungrateful, and Valentine's is a chocolate holiday, so what did you expect? Not There are all kinds of other candies that are not chocolate. I don't know if he's aware of this. And like, chocolate and Valentine's Day, well, Valentine's Day is a pretty modern holiday as is, at least in its current incarnation, I think. I mean, I'm not a Valentine's Day historian, but certainly I don't think it always revolved around chocolate. I told him never gonna like chocolate, and it's not funny, or whatever he thinks it is. And I'm gonna never let you down, or run around, or desert you. He's never gonna give up on giving you chocolate. He's never gonna
He's always gonna let you down.
He's always gonna let you down. He's gonna give you the run around and continue to desert you with chocolate. He said that most girls like chocolate, and I should be happy that he even remembers to get the gift. And it's not my fault, I'm so picky. Maybe he's right, and maybe I'm just being stubborn or something like this. Am I the jerk? Alright, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
I mean, I think my commentary pretty well said it, but I mean, why is he doing this? Like, well, why did he make it his mission to make OP want to like chocolate? It's like, dude, just accept that some people don't like chocolate. There are people who literally have chocolate allergies, right? Does he think that they like to eat chocolate? He's like, yeah, I mean, I imagine that some people will, like, suffer through anaphylactic shock just because they like chocolate so much. It's a chocolate holiday. No, there's lots of different ways to express your love on Valentine's Day or any time. Putting thought into a gift that you know that someone won't like is not a good gift. It doesn't really align with the spirit of something like Valentine's Day, where you should be getting people gifts that they like. And I mean, I think that, like, you shouldn't take aside one special day per year to show someone that you love them, and you should be, if you really, care about someone, you should get them gifts maybe throughout the year. You don't need one special day or one special holiday to show appreciation or give gifts to people, right? So I think that this is a little bit of a weird hill for him to die on, and I think that, I don't think that OP is the jerk in this situation. I think he's kind of being thoughtless, even though he thinks he's being thoughtful. Just get over it and accept that people don't like chocolate sometimes. Not the jerk. He is demonstrating repeatedly that you do not matter to him. Believe him. Also, that he's using OP to get himself a gift. He knows she doesn't like chocolate, but he does. So he's using it to try and convince her to get himself chocolate. Maybe. I think that could very well be, because it does sound like he might be benefiting at least to some degree from the chocolates. But I also think that he's literally just has something in his head convincing him that someday she'll like chocolate if he gets her enough chocolate.
Or he's just really lazy and doesn't know any other gifts to give.
Yeah, he doesn't know OP well enough, and so he's like, I don't know what to get her. Like flowers? Maybe she's a flower person. Maybe she's a jewelry person. Maybe she's any number of different things. Maybe she's a clothing person, right? Maybe she's a music instrument person or a book person, right? There are lots of different hobbies and categories that people have that you can buy them gifts. You do not have to buy chocolate on Valentine's Day. She'd probably appreciate a good book over chocolates. All right, folks, guess what time it is? It's tea time. And I'm going to give you a multiple choice today of what teas I have. I either have A, mint, or B, licorice spice. So let me know what type of mint... let me know what type of tea you think I have. Everyone's like, Brian is just the goofiest goofball ever. You wouldn't be surprised if I were, but I am. All right. In the spirit of the holidays, how long should doctors practice medicine? Until they get it right? That's horrifying. The implications of this are horrifying.
Well, I guess I can't be a doctor yet. Next.
Oh, and as you can see, I did Wordle in 3 today, but again, I accidentally cheated. I keep accidentally cheating, and it does not look good on me. So today I know what my mom's starting word is, unfortunately, because I cast the same starting word as she did one day, and she uses the same starting word a lot. And so, basically she she sent me hers, and I'm like, oh, I already know what her starting word is, and she got it in 2, so I already had like the lineup of what the first 3 letters were, and so I was like, oh well. I guess I accidentally cheated again. So let me know how many letters did you do, or what tries did you do Wordle in? Don't mind me. I'm just going to continue to try not to cheat. All right. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for keeping an inheritance from my ex-husband's homophobic family? I'm a 33-year-old female, and I married my childhood best friend, John, a 33-year-old male, when we were 22. I knew he was gay, and we decided to get married for several reasons: taxes, convenience, and to keep his family from finding out, etc. I get along with his family, who loves me. John had med school paid for by his family, and I don't have a job, and instead I became a full-time caretaker for his maternal grandparents, who, when we first got married, were 85 and 87, and were dealing with multiple health issues. John's family supported us both financially and through John's medical training. Well, once John got his MD and finished his residency 3 years ago, he decided to come out to his parents. We got divorced. We later decided against telling the family that I knew all along. John's parents cut him off completely when he moved in with his boyfriend, basically disowning him. His grandparents weren't told about him being gay. Everyone was pretty much in agreement that that wasn't a good idea, as they were quite fragile and physically and mentally at this point. but they knew that we were divorced. And whereas John used to come and see his grandparents frequently, because his parents had disowned him, John decided to pretty much limit contact with his entire family and never really visited or called. On the other hand, I had become his grandparents' main caretaker for so long that 1, I didn't have any other career training to support myself, and 2, figured it would make the most sense for me to continue being their caretaker as they were rapidly declining and I didn't want them to adjust poorly to a lot of new changes. I moved into his grandparents' home with them. While I was angry at John's parents for their treatment of him, I still loved his grandparents who had always been kind to me. When they passed, within a few weeks of each other, his grandfather ended up willing me almost their entire estate, about $12 million in assets. Holy cow! John and his mom each received about $50,000. John and I discussed it, and we felt it was fair that he received a higher proportion, and we're both happy and comfortable with how we divided it. His parents, on the other hand, had expected to receive the bulk of the inheritance and accused me of abusing his grandparents and manipulating them into willing almost everything to me. Apparently, they had made some business decisions assuming that they would receive the money. And they also argued that they would have gone ballistic if they knew that John was using their money to, quote, fund his lifestyle of being a doctor. Honestly, I hadn't given any thought of their will at all when they had passed. It had never come up, but I feel that John deserved money after the way his parents treated him. And John tells me that I deserve to be taken care of after I spent more than a decade of my life caring for his grandparents. Are we the jerks for keeping the inheritance when his parents made plans based on the assumptions of the inheritance? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk.
You know, this is a sad situation. I'm sorry, OP, that your grandparents passed. I mean, I think that they were as much, your loved ones as they were, the families. I mean, you were married into this family. And so I imagine that this was a hard loss on you, especially after spending so much time with them. So I'm really sorry for your loss here, OP. And on the other bit here, the grandparents knew what they were doing. They wrote up their will. They were clearly of sound mind when they did so. And they decided that the parents weren't going to be part of that will. And that's that. And what you decide to do with your money at the end of the day, I think, is up to you, right? And so I think that, this was very good of them, very kind of them to give you, a life-changing amount of money like this. And it's going to help keep you supported when you don't have any other kind of career abilities right now or training. Maybe you'll be able to use that money to do some really good in the world, right? So, no, I don't think that you're the jerk in the situation, and I think that the parents are just bitter that they didn't get the money. And I think, if they really, really, really want to push this, they can take you to court, but they're probably not going to get anywhere. I mean, this is not legal advice, but I mean, again, with $12 million, I'm sure you can hire a pretty good lawyer. So yeah, I don't think you're a jerk. Anyhow, and I think that John's parents are treating him very poorly, and I think that they should not have disowned him, and maybe you would be more willing to divvy up the money a little differently if they hadn't disowned John and they had continued to treat him like family. But basically they said, oh, John's not going to be part of the family anymore, and that could kind of put you into an awkward position. So I think that they messed around and they kind of got what they served out, right? Because they were like, we're going to disown John and we're not going to do anything, to help him at this point in time. But then when the grandparents do the exact same thing to them, they're like, wait, but no, you can't disown us. So I imagine that the grandparents' actions were more to do with how the parents treated John than it has to do with anything else. So that's kind of my feelings on it. But anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the Jerk plays stupid homophobic games and wins stupid homophobic prizes. Even if John's parents were decent people, OP spent a decade caring for them and deserves whatever they felt was right to give to her, which in this case I agree with. She gave her 20s to them and was with them until the end. That's far more than John's mother can say that she did for them for the last 10 years. And OP wasn't even expecting to gain anything out of this. It sounds like OP was just doing this out of the goodness of their heart. And, like, yeah, that's a really good thing and kind thing of them to have done for her.
Well, and kind of like they had no other options too. Like I do feel bad for Opie that it seems like John just kind of like oh yeah, marry me, and then oh well, we're gonna get a divorce, but you don't have any skills because you were taking care of my grandparents this whole time.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like OP was a little more discarded in the situation, in which I do feel bad for. And it does feel like OP was kind of left to float on their own. And, it does not seem like a good situation all around. But, we don't have all the details, and we don't know if John was, like, going to continue to support her or any number of things. So it is difficult to know, like, that the financial nuance of the situation. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. And if you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.